What I'm about to show you is technically illegal in all 50 states. Federal fines can reach $2,500 per violation. Yet every professional tuner I know uses at least half of these tricks on their personal vehicles. Your car is choking on 40% of its own power. Last week, a customer paid me $1,200 to fix what a 30-second illegal trick could have prevented. After 20 years watching dealerships use these exact underground methods while charging you thousands, I'm done staying quiet. I'm exposing 20 forbidden car secrets, from 30-second ECU hacks to mods so effective the EPA banned them. Fair warning, some violate the Clean Air Act, others bypass safety regulations. All will save you thousands or unlock performance your manufacturer buried. The final trick? A $12 bottle that kept my truck running 387,000 miles. Manufacturers say never use it, but it's why mechanics' cars last 3 times longer than yours. Let's dive into the underground. 20. The throttle body reset trick. Modern cars use electronic throttle control. A computer regulates how far your throttle opens when you press the gas. Over time, that system develops learned habits based on how you drive. Slow starts, soft acceleration, low rev limits. Dealers charge $150 for this exact same recalibration. But here's the thing. The computer never forgets those habits even after you change your oil, air filter, or plugs. It just keeps driving like you're scared of the gas pedal. The underground trick? You can reset that behavior in under a minute. No tools, no parts. Turn the key to on without starting the engine. Press the gas pedal to the floor for 10 seconds. Turn the key off, release the pedal, then wait another 10 seconds before starting. This wipes the throttle learning data and forces the ECU to relearn fresh, like giving your car a clean personality slate. I did this on a customer's Camry last week. He texted me, "Feels 20% faster." Drivers report instant throttle response improvements and smoother idle within minutes. It's a simple trick, but one manufacturers rarely advertise because it exposes how often cars are running below potential right out of the gate. But this is child's play compared to what's coming. The next trick is something dealers have been doing secretly for decades while charging you hundreds. 19. The secret intake cleaning that feels like adding horsepower. Pop the hood of any car with over 30,000 miles and look at the throttle body or intake manifold. Chances are you'll find a black, sticky coating. That's carbon buildup from oil vapor and fuel residues. Want to guess the fix? Dealer quoted a customer $347 last month for intake cleaning. But you can do it for $8 in 15 minutes with a can of CRC intake valve cleaner or Seafoam. Here's how. Warm the engine, then spray the cleaner directly into the intake while holding the RPM around 2,000. The engine will stumble, smoke, and cough. That's normal. You're burning years of carbon off the valves. Once the smoke clears, it'll idle smoother, pull harder, and feel 10 years younger. That customer's Accord gained 3 miles per gallon. At current prices, that's $400 per year saved. A Toyota Camry that shook at idle ran like silk afterward. It's technically illegal only because manufacturers don't want you spraying chemicals into your air system. But it's the same process dealerships charge big money for. And speaking of illegal, wait until you hear about the transmission hack that saved a customer from a $3,800 rebuild. 18. The transmission flush hack. Ask a dealership if you should flush your transmission fluid, and they'll usually say no. Sealed for life. But sealed for life means sealed until warranty expires. I've replaced 46 transmissions that died right after warranty. After that, sludge and varnish begin choking the fluid passages and solenoids, making shifts lazy or jerky. The underground workaround? Do a partial drain and refill every 10,000 to 15,000 miles instead of waiting 60,000. Each time you replace only a third of the fluid, but over 3 changes, you've replaced nearly all of it. This method keeps the system clean without shocking it, avoiding the failure risk of a full flush. Customer brought me a slipping Civic at 120,000 miles. Dealer wanted $3,800 for rebuild. Instead of replacing the transmission, we did 3 partial drain/refills over a month. By the third, shifts were crisp. The car felt new. Total cost? $120. Manufacturers won't tell you this because lifetime fluid makes servicing cheaper for them, but that trick saves transmissions from early death every day. Now here's where things get truly illegal. The next modification can add 20 horsepower, but it's banned in all 50 states. 17. Catalytic Converter Delete, the most controversial mod. Removing your catalytic converter is illegal in all 50 states under the Clean Air Act, but it's one of the most effective ways to increase exhaust flow and horsepower. The controversy isn't just legal, it's environmental and ethical, sparking heated debates between performance enthusiasts and environmental advocates. But here's where it gets interesting. Catalytic converters restrict exhaust flow by forcing gases through honeycomb structures coated with precious metals. This creates back pressure that reduces engine efficiency. A straight pipe replacement can free up 10 to 20 horsepower, depending on your engine, while improving throttle response and creating that aggressive exhaust note many enthusiasts crave. The performance gains are real and measurable. Without the restriction, engines breathe more freely, especially at higher RPMs where back pressure becomes most problematic. Turbocharged engines see even greater benefits since reduced back pressure allows turbos to spool faster and maintain higher boost levels. However, the legal risks are severe. Federal fines can reach $2,500 per violation, and many states require emissions testing that will immediately fail without catalytic converters. Some shops won't even work on vehicles with deleted cats. Insurance companies may refuse coverage if they discover modifications that violate federal emissions standards. Oh, and one more thing. If you think this is controversial, trick number 8 got a shop completely shut down by the feds last year. Quick reminder, if you're enjoying this, hit that subscribe button now. 16. The spark plug gap adjustment. Nobody mentions every spark plug comes pre-gapped, but pre-gapped just means vaguely adjusted at the factory. In 20 years, I've never seen a properly pre-gapped plug from factory. In real-world engines, even a few thousandths of an inch off can mean the difference between perfect combustion and wasted fuel. Here's the mechanic's secret. Set the gap slightly tighter than factory spec, about 0.02 inches less. This small change strengthens the spark under load, improving throttle response and idle stability. I tested it on a customer's Mazda 3 that idled rough. Tighten the plug gaps by 0.02 inches. Idle smoothed instantly. Acceleration sharpened. Fuel economy rose by a full mile per gallon. That's a $200 dealer tune-up for free. No manufacturer endorses it because it tweaks EPA testing parameters and can alter emissions, hence the illegal tag. But it's harmless for everyday drivers who want sharper throttle response. Still, this basic trick is nothing compared to the computer modifications coming up that can unlock 50 horsepower. 15. ECU tuning for emissions defeat. By the way, trick number 8, the water vapor trick, got a shop completely shut down by federal agents. I'll tell you exactly what went wrong when we get there. Reflashing your engine control unit to disable emissions controls is federally illegal, but can unlock significant performance potential that manufacturers deliberately restrict. This modification exists in a legal gray area that varies by state and application, making it one of the most controversial computer-based upgrades available. Modern engines run rich fuel mixtures and conservative timing to meet emission standards, often leaving 20 to 50 horsepower on the table. Professional tuning can optimize air-fuel ratios, advance ignition timing, and disable systems like exhaust gas recirculation that reduce performance. The results are immediate: better throttle response, increased power, and improved fuel economy under certain driving conditions. Professional tuners argue that proper calibration actually improves engine longevity by eliminating the stress caused by overly conservative factory settings. Engines run cooler, knock sensors trigger less frequently, and components like carbon buildup from excessive exhaust gas recirculation can be eliminated. The technical execution requires expertise. Amateur tuning can destroy engines quickly. Professional shops charge $500 to $2,000 for custom tuning, but the legal risks have forced many to stop offering emissions-related modifications. Online tuning has filled this gap, but quality varies dramatically. And if you think messing with software is risky, the next trick involves physically drilling into your engine's breathing system. 14. The oxygen sensor shortcut dealer wanted $280 to replace a customer's O2 sensor yesterday. Oxygen sensors monitor your exhaust gases and tell the ECU how much fuel to mix with air. Over time, carbon buildup slows their response, making your engine run rich, wasting gas and fouling plugs. Most people replace them every 100,000 miles. That's expensive. Instead, pull the sensors out, soak the tips overnight in gasoline or sensor-safe cleaner, and reinstall. The refresh costs nothing and restores sensor accuracy, improving mileage and reducing hesitation. I've saved customers over $10,000 with this one trick in the last year alone. It's the kind of underground mechanic trick that saves hundreds and feels like your engine just woke up. 13. Cold air intake with MAF sensor modification. Installing aftermarket cold air intakes with modified mass airflow sensor calibration creates measurable performance gains, but violates federal tampering laws in most applications. The controversy centers on whether intake modifications constitute illegal emissions tampering or legitimate performance enhancement. Factory air intake systems prioritize noise reduction and packaging constraints over airflow efficiency. Aftermarket cold air intakes relocate the air filter outside the hot engine bay, providing denser air that contains more oxygen per cubic inch. Combined with larger diameter tubing and high-flow filters, these systems can increase airflow by 20 to 30%. Performance benefits extend beyond raw horsepower. Cooler intake air reduces knock tendency, allowing more aggressive timing advance. Turbocharged engines see particularly dramatic gains since cooler air increases turbo efficiency and reduces inlet temperatures. Some setups gain 15 to 25 horsepower with proper tuning. The controversy intensifies with race use only labeling that manufacturers use to avoid legal liability. These products clearly improve street performance, but the legal fiction of track-only use creates regulatory confusion. Many enthusiasts install them anyway, gambling that enforcement focuses on more obvious violations. 12. The Airbox Secret Breather. Your airbox isn't just filtering air, it's limiting it. Manufacturers design intake systems to meet noise and emission standards, not performance. That's why most stock intakes are full of resonators and narrow ducts that choke airflow. Here's the underground trick. Drill a few small holes on the cold side of the airbox, the section before the filter, to let in additional cool air. Don't touch the hot side near the engine. Cooler, denser air means better combustion and quicker throttle response. It's not about creating a loud cold air roar. It's about giving your engine the oxygen it's been asking for. One Civic owner I worked with gained 2 miles per gallon and smoother acceleration just from 3.5-inch holes hidden under the airbox lid. Cost? 5 minutes and a drill bit. 11. The MAF sensor cleaning that feels like magic. If you're still watching, you're about to learn what mechanics pay thousands in training to discover. These next 10 tricks are why professional tuners' personal cars never break down. But wait, here's where it gets crazy. Your mass airflow sensor is the brain of your fuel system. It measures how much air enters your engine and tells the ECU how much fuel to mix in response. Over time, microscopic dust coats the sensor wire, tricking it into reading low, so the engine runs rich, wasting gas and killing spark plugs. Most people replace the sensor for $120 to $200. The underground trick? Don't replace it. Clean it. Unplug the sensor. Spray it gently with MAF cleaner, never brake cleaner. Let it dry 10 minutes and reinstall. That's it. The difference is instant. Smoother idle, sharper response, stronger mid-range pull. Yesterday, an SUV owner came in getting 14 miles per gallon. $8 of MAF cleaner later, 18 miles per gallon. That's $800 per year at current gas prices. Every dealership tech does this secretly before recommending a replacement, then bills you for the new sensor. Oh, and one critical detail. If you use the wrong cleaner, you'll destroy the sensor instantly. That's a $200 mistake. But even perfect sensors can't help if your exhaust is choking your engine. 9. The fuel filter bypass. Walk into any dealership today and you'll hear the same line. You never have to change your fuel filter again. They'll call it a lifetime filter, tucked neatly inside the fuel tank. But what they don't tell you is that lifetime doesn't mean forever. It means until the warranty expires. After that, you're on your own. I've pulled fuel pumps killed by lifetime filters at just 80,000 miles. That's a $1,000 replacement. Modern cars use fine tolerance injectors that spray microscopic fuel mist into the combustion chamber. Over time, those lifetime filters begin to clog, starving the engine of consistent fuel flow. The symptoms creep in slowly. Rough idle, sluggish throttle, a faint stumble under load. The fuel filter bypass trick is brilliantly simple. Install an external inline fuel filter between the tank and the engine bay, a transparent one rated for fuel injection pressure. With a clean, high-flow filter in that spot, you gain something car makers never intended: visibility. You can literally see what your fuel looks like before it reaches your injectors. Installation isn't rocket science, but it does require care. The fuel line is cut at a safe section before the engine bay. The new filter is clamped in, secured, and checked for leaks. From then on, maintenance becomes child's play. Once the filter turns dark, you know it's time. Swap it out for a $6 replacement and 5 minutes of work. Compare that to pulling out the entire fuel tank, disassembling the pump assembly, and replacing a factory filter that wasn't meant to be touched. That's a $1,000 job at the dealer, easily avoided by this small preventive tweak. 8. The water vapor trick. Remember I said this got a shop shut down? Here's what happened. They were running this on customer cars without telling them. One hydrolock, one bent rod, one federal investigation for unauthorized modifications. $47,000 in fines. The shop's gone now. It sounds like an old mechanic's fairy tale. Pour water into a running engine and somehow make it better. But the water vapor trick isn't just some myth passed around in dusty garages. It's one of those underground techniques that's been quietly circulating among old-school tuners for decades. And when done right, it can make an aging engine run like it's been given a second life. With the engine fully warmed up and idling steadily, a fine mist of water is introduced into the intake. As that mist enters the hot combustion chambers, it instantly flashes into steam. The sudden expansion of that steam scours the interior, blasting away carbon deposits that cling stubbornly to piston crowns, intake valves, and combustion surfaces. The process is violent in a microscopic way. Steam molecules wedge themselves beneath carbon flakes, lifting and softening them, sending them out the exhaust as sooty plumes. You'll often see it yourself, thick black smoke billowing from the tailpipe as decades of burnt residue are expelled. The result? The engine breathes easier, idles smoother, and sometimes even feels like it's gained 10 horsepower overnight. Still, this is not a trick for the careless. Do it wrong, pour too much water too fast, and you risk hydrolocking the engine. Liquids don't compress, and a cylinder full of water can bend a connecting rod in the blink of an eye. That's why seasoned mechanics stress the key is control. A fine mist, not a stream. A steady throttle, not a rev-happy roar. And patience. I used this on a 200,000-mile Toyota last month. Owner said it drives like 100,000 miles ago. But here's the thing. We're about to cross into true felony territory with these next tricks. 7. Manual transmission conversion in automatic-only vehicles. Converting vehicles originally equipped with automatic transmissions to manual transmissions creates dramatic performance improvements and driving engagement, violates federal safety standards and most state title and registration requirements. This modification represents the most complex and controversial drivetrain alteration possible. Many high-performance vehicles are only offered with automatic transmissions due to emissions requirements, fuel economy standards, or manufacturer cost considerations. Manual conversions restore the direct connection between driver and powertrain, while eliminating parasitic losses from torque converters and complex valve bodies. Performance benefits extend far beyond horsepower gains. Manual transmissions provide better power delivery control, faster gear changes for aggressive driving, and improved engine braking. Properly executed conversions can reduce quarter-mile times by several tenths, while dramatically improving track performance and driving enjoyment. The legal complications are extensive. Federal motor vehicle safety standards require specific crashworthiness testing for transmission tunnel configurations. State title and registration systems may not accommodate drivetrain changes, creating insurance and legal ownership issues. Technical execution requires extensive fabrication expertise. Quality conversions cost $8,000 to $15,000 and require months of work. Still watching? Good. You're already ahead of 90% of drivers. But these next 6 tricks, this is where we separate the weekend warriors from the pros who never pay for repairs. 6. The coil pack swap. Still here? Good. These final tricks are why professional mechanics never pay for repairs on their own cars. What you're about to learn would cost $5,000 in training courses. Ignition coils are designed for specific engines. But here's the catch. Many across brands are interchangeable, and some are stronger. Performance enthusiasts often install slightly higher output coils from compatible models to improve spark stability and fuel burn. Example: certain Nissan and Infiniti coils share mounts and connectors, but deliver 10 to 15% stronger spark. Swapping them gives instant throttle crispness and more consistent idle. It's technically illegal because it alters the emission system, but the effect is immediate: cleaner combustion and faster response. One Maxima owner gains smoother power delivery and a noticeable bump in torque with this simple cross-swap. Total cost? $60 from a salvage yard. That same customer would have paid $400 at the dealer for OEM coils that do the exact same thing. Oh wait, there's one detail I forgot. Using the wrong coils can fry your ECU instantly. Always check resistance values first. 5. Straight pipe exhaust with bypass systems. The number one trick coming up can literally melt pistons if you mess up the fuel ratio. It's a 60% power boost that requires complete fuel system replacement. I've seen 3 engines destroyed by amateurs trying it. Installing straight pipe exhausts with electronic bypass valves creates the ultimate exhaust flow while maintaining the ability to meet noise regulations when needed. But the intentional circumvention of noise ordinances makes this modification particularly controversial among law enforcement and communities. These systems use electronically controlled valves that can instantly switch between quiet operation and unrestricted straight pipe flow. During normal driving or when passing noise inspections, the valves route exhaust through mufflers and resonators. For performance driving, the valves open to provide unrestricted flow directly to the atmosphere. The performance benefits combine the best of both worlds: full restriction elimination when desired, with legal compliance when necessary. High-performance engines see substantial gains from unrestricted flow, particularly at high RPMs where back pressure becomes most limiting. Some systems provide 20 to 30 horsepower gains in straight pipe mode. Professional systems from manufacturers like Borla or Corsa cost $2,000 to $5,000, but provide seamless operation and quality construction. Cheaper systems often fail or create annoying drone frequencies. The real controversy? Some tuners are combining this with the next tricks to create street illegal race cars. 4. The PCV system pressure hack. Your positive crankcase ventilation valve regulates pressure inside the engine. When it sticks, oil vapors flood the intake and cause detonation, hesitation, and sluggish throttle. Instead of replacing it, many old-school mechanics install a small inline fuel filter in the PCV hose. It traps oil mist before it reaches the intake. The result? Cleaner valves, reduced carbon buildup, and steadier idle. The tiny filter costs $3, and snaps in place in 60 seconds. Dealers call it a catch can system and sell it for $150. The backyard version works just as well and keeps the engine breathing clean. 3. The throttle response booster hack. Modern cars often have a built-in lag between pressing the pedal and actual engine response. It's intentional for emissions, comfort, and traction control, but you can override it. Enthusiasts use plug-and-play throttle controllers that intercept the signal from the pedal and amplify it. In sport mode, throttle opens instantly, removing that lazy delay that makes automatics feel dull. But the cheaper underground version is manual. After the ECU relearn trick, disconnect the battery again. Press the gas pedal to the floor 10 times in succession. Reconnect and start the engine. This resyncs pedal voltage mapping and tightens throttle sensitivity. Every driver who's done it swears the car feels lighter, more alert, because it is. It's not a horsepower gain, it's a response gain, and that makes every drive feel like a tune-up. 2. The injector pulse trick. Injectors are precision tools, microscopic nozzles firing fuel thousands of times per minute. Over time, varnish coats their tips, changing the spray pattern from a fine mist to a dribble. You'll never feel it immediately, but your engine does. Uneven idle, slower acceleration, higher fuel use. Here's the trick most shops keep quiet. Instead of dumping a $15 bottle of cleaner into the tank, disconnect the fuel line at the rail. Run the engine on straight injector cleaning solution for 5 minutes. Then let it sit and soak for another 10. When you restart, it'll smoke, stumble, and then smooth out like silk. This method dissolves deposits directly instead of diluting them through the tank. It's exactly what professional injector service rigs do, except those cost hundreds of dollars. The effect is immediate. Cleaner throttle, smoother revs, and sharper cold starts. Technically illegal because it involves running the engine on something other than gasoline, but it's perfectly safe when done carefully. 1. ECU reflash for racing fuel, the ultimate power mod. This is it, the modification that turns economy cars into rockets. But remember, wrong fuel mixture equals melted pistons in seconds. No warranty will save you. No insurance will cover it. This is point of no return territory. Engine control units tuned specifically for racing fuel like E85 ethanol or 100 plus octane unleaded creates massive power gains that can exceed 30 to 50% increases, but makes vehicles completely non-compliant with emission standards and illegal for street use in all jurisdictions. But here's what nobody tells you about E85. Racing fuels allow dramatically more aggressive tuning than pump gasoline. E85 ethanol has an octane rating around 105, enabling timing advance and boost levels impossible with 91 to 93 octane pump gas. The alcohol content also provides internal cooling effects that reduce knock tendency and allow higher compression ratios. The power gains are staggering. Turbocharged engines commonly see 40 to 60% power increases with proper E85 tuning. The fuel's properties enable boost levels that would destroy engines on pump gas while maintaining safe combustion margins. Naturally aspirated engines benefit from compression ratio increases and aggressive timing advance. The technical requirements are extensive. Fuel system upgrades are mandatory since E85 requires 30 to 40% more fuel volume than gasoline. Injectors, fuel pumps, and lines must be upgraded to handle both the volume increase and alcohol compatibility. Professional tuning is absolutely essential to prevent engine damage. The ultimate controversy. This modification creates the most dramatic performance improvements possible while being completely illegal for street use, forcing enthusiasts to choose between maximum performance and legal compliance. One wrong calculation, and you're looking at an $8,000 engine rebuild. But when done right, I've seen Honda Civics embarrass Corvettes. The $12 secret that saved my truck. You just learned 20 tricks that cost under $200 total, but prevent over $10,000 in repairs. Start with the throttle reset, trick number 20, right now. Takes 30 seconds, costs nothing. I've used these exact methods on over 3,000 cars in my shop. Zero comebacks. But remember I promised you the one maintenance trick that beats all 20 of these combined? Something so simple you can do it once a month in your own garage, yet so powerful it can literally double your engine's lifespan? Here it is. The oil additive that breaks all the rules. Oil is the lifeblood of your engine, but even the best grades thin and lose protection over time. Manufacturers tell you never to add anything to modern oil formulations. They say it voids warranties. They say it's unnecessary. Independent mechanics? We know better. A high molybdenum friction modifier like Liquimoly or ZDP additive coats metal surfaces with microscopic film that resists wear, reduces friction, and lowers temperature. Engines treated with it often idle quieter, rev smoother, and maintain oil pressure longer between changes. One customer's old Corolla went from rattling at idle to whisper quiet after a single additive treatment. He drove another 40,000 miles without another timing chain tick. The reason manufacturers discourage it? Additives complicate oil certification and make factory oil look unnecessary. But in the real world, friction modifiers are the reason high-mileage engines keep running long after their paperwork says they shouldn't. This $12 bottle, used monthly, is why my truck hit 387,000 miles without a single major repair. All 20 tricks work only if the car is cared for. You can't cheat physics, but you can definitely outsmart the system. Look, you made it through all 20 illegal tricks. You now know what mechanics charge thousands to learn. The question isn't whether these work, it's whether you have the guts to use them. These 20 secrets prove that rule breakers get results. Like and subscribe if you're all about smarter performance. Which one would you actually try? Drop it in the comments. And if you think these tricks are crazy, wait till you see what your car can already do. Welcome to the underground. I'll see you there.